Space exploration. Is that your topic?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have talked the topic like space exploration. So what is your concept about this space?
Space is like our universe,
Yes.
and it's filled with planets and celestial bodies.
So what what are the component of the space you can define at?
The sun, Earth, and stars,
Okay.
and like asteroids and meteoroids.
Okay. This is visible to you?
Yes.
Okay. So the big if we take the big idea from the space exploration, how we can use the math and science to understand the explore space. Actually, the
Okay.
space explorer depends upon the algebra, physics, and we correlate the all science subject with this. Okay.
Okay.
So when you correlate the all subject, then we need to connect algebra, physics, earth space. So it become very easy to understand for any students. So there are some space context algebra topics like we can say linear equation.
Yeah.
Linear equation predicting the satellite altitude and descent speed. It means we can
Okay.
say the satellite which are present around the sun and they revolve any we can say in orbit around
Okay.
any set. So their position. So we can say that can monitor their position. They can understand how they can correlate and how they are present in the space and how can correlate with other stars and other planets. So this is
Yeah.
a very important phenomenon, very important factor for any predicting satellite altitude, how much they are far from each other, how are they at high altitude, and what is the distance. So we can calculate their distance from other star, from other satellite. So we can say that the space and duration and the time taking reaching from one space portion for the satellite to other space portion, it is very easy to understand. But when we are using the linear equation to understand this, then we can utilize their descent speed. How at which
Okay.
speed they revolve around in orbit, around in any planet. So what is their important factor to understand the space orientation in which different satellites are present? You know that satellite are when they are present at their original position, they provide us some simultaneously a wave-like information. Through this wave-like information, we can coordinate with them, and we can understand. And we, when we use the aspect of the wave, then we utilize for our television, for our mobile network, and other telecommunication resources can be predict at which their speed level and at their altitude point when they are near to the receiving antenna and complex, so their signal are good. So linear equation is very fundamental point to understand the satellite altitude and their speed. Okay.
Okay.
So next space context we can say quadratic function. In
Okay.
quadratic function we can say rocket motion under gravity. When a
Okay.
rocket goes from Earth into the space. So we can
Okay.
say when an object moves, if this is the Earth portion and this is the central exit and portion of the Earth, from this portion, if any object moves in this space, if this object goes from mean position to high position, so it's we can calculate their gravitational acceleration. That gravitational acceleration is called g. So the value of g is 9.8 meter per second square. Through this acceleration, and this acceleration measure the speed at which any rocket moves. So at this center, the value of g is 0. You
Okay.
know that you can find the weight of any object at Earth, W is equal to mg.
Yeah.
M is a mass object, g is a gravitational acceleration. So when an object goes away from the mean central point of the Earth, its g value decreases. So we can say it this motion is vertical launches in vertical space. So when any object away goes away, their g value decreases, their gravitational acceleration decreases. So rocket
Okay.
goes from Earth into the space. When it goes from Earth into space, the G value decreases. When it reaches their target, then it explodes. So when it explodes with the help of G, we can identify, we can indicate their quadratic function, how they quadrate with their original position and to final position.
Okay.
So this also help to find the speed, distance over time. Speed is the distance over time. Okay. Next point here is to understand the algebra with the space exploration. Systems of equation. Different equations are utilized to identify, to measure the space and orientation of object present in the space. When two spacecraft must dock at the same point in space, we can find their system of equation.
Okay.
So system of equation help to find dock. They can help to identify with each other. They can explore to each other. This is very useful phenomenon to identify and explore anything in the space. And next is scientific notation and exponents.
Okay.
You can say and the light reaching from sun to earth. So at which speed level this sunlight comes from sun to earth, that is called speed of light. So you must know the speed of light well is speed of light is 3 multiply 10 power 8 meter per second. This is the speed of the light. So you you are seeing that this speed of light is represented with power of 10. When any distance from one satellite to another satellite, from satellite to any planet, from satellite to their original position, from satellite to another space, if their speed, their orientation is measured in power of 10, that is called scientific notation. So that scientific notation is represented in the exponents. Exponent mean power. So that exponent always represented in the power of 10. So the particle, some particle, electron, proton, neutron are also present in atom. Atom is exact in the space. So you can find their mass. You can find value of charge. So
Okay.
all quantities can be calculated, can be measured in power of 10. That is the algebraic scientific notation helpful to find different exponents, different space orientation in the space. This is very useful phenomenon to find the exact value of speed, length, and their duration. And the next is the graphing and data. If any space, any object is present in the space, you can find their graph and data. So this graphing and data is helpful to find uh, track, planet, orbit, velocity, and time graph. So if you want to say at which speed in the time any object is moving, so you can draw a graph, velocity on y-axis and time on x-axis. This is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. Then you can find their speed with the passage of time, what is the level of speed and at which level they can move in the orientation. So this you can find their number at which speed it is moving at which time. If time is represented in 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds and speed is represented with 10 meter per second, 20 meter per second, 30 meter per
Yeah.
second, and 40 meter per second. So this is the figure and data of velocity and time duration. And
Okay.
you represent this data in the form of graph. So this graphing and data helpful to find any velocity and time graph relation of the different orbit and satellite present in the space. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So we have to extend this lecture. Okay. So next is design a Mars mission. How different people go to the Mars and how they calculated the data and how they utilize the technology and math to understand. First is when you design a Mars mission, they calculation is based on the math. They calculate fuel, which type of fuel is used, how much fuel is used to go there, and what is the time duration. So all things are calculated using linear equation. So this is, we can say, this is the use of math. This is the use of algebra in the science exploration. And
Okay.
second, the technology is used, that is a science, understand planetary alignment, which planet represent with other planet, what is the distance from one planet to another planet, how they are oriented in the space. So you can launch window and different criteria to find their alignment. And third is the technology, create a basic simulation or infographic of the trajectory. And it's mean you find the track, you find the path through which you move to go for the mission to visit there. And what is the, to understand what are the criteria of life and what requirements needed to live there. So this is a very important factor to understand such type of criteria. And the second application is the rocket launch simulation. When you throw the rocket and when it goes into the space, then you can find their height at which level of height this rocket can go into space. Then this is the formula to find height 4.9 t square in velocity time, and it is its original height. When you added all these quantity, you can find the height of rocket in the space. So h
Okay.
represent the height with the initial velocity. Initial velocity may be 150. Then when it go away, its speed become higher and higher. And that time is measured in a second, and h is the launch platform height when it started. So it means it is its original height.
Okay.
And second is to measure the budget. Which budget is required to go in the uh, mission? So we can say this is a space budgeting. How much amount is required to visit Mars or you make to rocket simulation? Students have to manage 10 million space budget using the polynomial cost model. So you can find this
Mm,
amount 1.26. So this is the linear equation to understand the space budgeting. So when you utilize the math, when you utilize the algebra, when you use the calculating method in the space exploration, this is called space exploration using this type of method. Okay.
okay.
So you told me 30 minutes class today?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So after 5 minutes, I will finish your class. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So you have to, all these topics are given in your book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to find their cross space. So cross-curriculum integration, how you can integrate all these subject, all these measures to understand the algebra in the space exploration. When you utilize the science, you must know laws of motion. There are three laws of motion: Newton first law, second law, and third law. In which he said the utilizing of force and how they can relate with the mass and what is the relation between force and acceleration. So these laws are understand in the Newton motion law, and you must know the gravity. Gravity
Okay.
actually is understand with the weight of any object present in the planet of Earth. W is equal to mg. M is the mass, g is the gravitational acceleration. So with the help of this equation, you can find the value of g. The solar system, in which how many planets are present, how these planets are arranged with each other, and how they are correlated with each other. So this is the solar system. So you can utilize these three factors and to understand the science in the term of algebra, in the term of math. And second
Okay.
curricular integration is the geography. And geography, you map the launch sites, you see the orbital path and space station, at which space station you can move and you can take stop, and then you can move to the other planet. So this is very helpful regional point of view to reach any space station.
Yeah.
And this is the history. History is very important to integrate. You know the timeline of space exploration, in which Sputnik, Apollo, Artemis, how when they visited, when they uh, arrange their visit. So you can see that, you can watch and you can read their history, and then you can decide to go there. Then you can find and can work for further exploration. And you write all mission log in the term of English. So this is very helpful for contribution of all space exploration. When you
Okay.
want to mission to the moon, students use algebraic function to plan a lunar mission. You can say this will be the topic and this will be the objective for any students to move there. So you can say this is the algebraic function to arrange for the lunar motion. You make the graph rocket altitude with our time, at which speed, with the passage of time, it moves. So this graph is helpful to find their velocity and time when it started to move. And initial their speed is slow. When it goes higher and higher, its speed become high. So second portion, you solve the time when rocket reach the moon orbit. You indicate, you can guess the time, which time trick criteria is required to reach there. Then
Okay.
you can estimate the cost of fuel and equipment using polynomials and present a mission plan for the class. This is also help to reach there to complete their mission. Okay?
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, you if you have query, then you can ask.
No, I don't.
Okay, so it's mean you want to study, so you we will take tomorrow your next class. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Take care.
goodbye.